Okay, gents, sorry it's taking me so long to get back with you on this, but one of these days I need to give you guys an outtakes reel. I really don't know how to present this because I don't want it to sound too intense, but I want you to kind of see there's things to look at on these. And I've spent a small fortune on tires, and I know you guys probably have too. There's some obvious stuff that gets overlooked quite a bit. And I'll show you what I ended up with on my track, but you'll see these grooves here. When I first started running these closed cell inserts, I didn't even put holes in the wheels. I can't remember what brand it was, but they didn't even have a hole in the wheel. But even when I did, I would squeeze the tire, and these aren't glued, by the way, and the tire would just, like, if you squeezed it here, the tire would bulge out here. And when I'd let go, it would stay flat for a while here. So we all know that's bad. Now, let's just note something here. This groove is actually a tuning option. It leaves air in there, but you can have an adverse effect either way. So, on my track, I go and put these in the middle on my fronts. That way the hole is over this, it's not in this. No dirt can get in there. It can, because you know, as you're in a hard turn, it's going to push this way and that way, and you're going to get dirt in there. The bad thing about that is you might not get as much dirt back out as you want. And if you get water in there from cleaning them, it's not going to dry out as fast or drip out as fast, those kind of things. But if I don't put any holes in there, I traction roll real bad. If I just leave the inside hole on the wheel and don't put any holes in my tire, I traction roll real bad when it's moist or good high bite on our track. So this is a happy medium. I got the holes inside and I got this covering up the middle hole. If I want to get a little bit more control out of the car with high bite, I want that hole a little bit off center to match up with the groove. See right there? I don't know if you can see it very good, but see, you just kind of get to know your tire and you know your insert. And I always stick with this tire. And I always stick with this insert. So I've been running for since last year. I played around with a bunch of other stuff, and this year I got a little bit crazy at the beginning of the season, but I quickly remembered why I like this setup better. So it's something to work with. If you don't put any holes in there, the tire stays more bulged, and you run more on the tip of the stud. But if you put holes in there, and it can depend on how many holes you put in there, you're going to run less on this stud and the tire is going to be more soft. So, just something to look at, something to think about. The reason why I've been kind of procrastinating on this is because I've got these glued up and I know I can get a month and a half out of these. At least a month of driving out of these. And if I was at the track and all of a sudden I wanted some tires, let's say I wanted to bring my A game, because I honestly believe this tire, any tire you choose, that's where your A game starts. You are going to set up your car, your shocks, your spring, everything is going to be around that tire. Traction or no traction, your tire is going to constitute where you go with your setup. You'll learn that. But as you can see on these, I went all the way through on the middle. Now, I could have went over here, as you can see, and got a little further off from the center. And that way when the tire is working back and forth, I'm less likely to get any dirt in this groove. Because once that dirt gets in there, it can't get back out. That's something you want to think about. If you're on a real dusty track and these holes line up with this groove, you're going to allow a lot of dirt in, but it's going to be easier for that dirt to get out. Our track isn't real dusty like loose dirt, so this works real well for me at our track. So you got to really think that through before you glue your tires, because once you glue your tires up, that's it. I mean, I want to just glue these up because Razzathorn has a B44 now, and I know he's going to bring his A game, and he's got me working. He's got me wanting to beat him, and that's what racing's all about. I've had it kind of easy this season because, well, I've been pretty dominant. We'll just say that. I haven't let it go to my head because I really enjoy racing with the guys I race with. Now, I'm going to point out some stuff on this rear tire. And I know this is kind of anal, but you guys that are really truly trying to bring your A game and you really want to get the most out of your tires, you really want to know this stuff. Here's a rear one. See if you can get a good idea. See how those line up? And you really want to think this stuff through. Hopefully some of these tips I'm giving you will show you some stuff and you can kind of think it through. But look at this. Find my little pointer stick. Seems how I'm trying to be Mr. Scientific for you here. See where that hole is? I think I was talking to a fellow the other day, and we were talking about holes and where to put them. I said, well, you might have them zigzagged all over the place. This is why, right here. I want my hole right over this dang bulge right here, but not in this groove. So to line that up, I got to be right in here. Okay, there's foam in there. Now, when you go on around, just so I got good consistency, I try to jog them a little bit. That's right in that groove here. You don't want to get holes out here though. You know you're just gonna force dirt in there and mud. Get on a wet track, you're gonna throw that mud right in there. And see, I come back over here. That's a good shot right there. And these are 1/8 holes. I punch them out with a leather punch. Actually, it's not a leather punch. It's for putting buttons on shirts and stuff. A little cheapy. But you can see there. I don't know if you can see, but see when you squeeze that, the tire doesn't swell or balloon up, and the air gets back in real fast. I got some tires I accidentally bought. I'm going to glue them up because they're going to be given away or sold dirt cheap, and I can actually show you. I just accidentally bought them the other day. So try to think about that stuff. Try to think it through before you go and glue these up, because once you glue these up, man, you're going to have to buy another set to try something else. If you want real good bite and you want to run on the tip of those pins, then less holes is going to get you there. But I always at least run the holes in the wheel. You gotta have some air. That's what helps that tire expand back out on its own without having to give it any throttle or anything. And when you lay in the car, it's not going to be like bouncy. You gotta have them holes in there. You go into a side bite turn and there's no holes in there for that tire to give a little bit. It's just going to go bloop. You're going to be laying on your lid. So that's why I've been procrastinating on gluing tires. I know about every scenario on these AKAs. If you guys got any questions, you ask me, because I tell you what, I have played with these tires on practice day. We actually race harder on practice day than we do on race day. I mean, we may go through 2 or 3 different scenarios of setups and tires and stuff, but I know my tires so well and I know how I want it set up, I'll just do them like this every time. Because I know our track, it's a happy medium. Now, being I know Razorthorn's there and I bought these so I could show you guys how I glue tires, and we're going to get to that, I promise. You'll probably like the way I glue my tires. Pretty good knowledge. On this set, I'm actually not going to put any holes in these. I've decided I'm not putting any holes in these tires. Because a lot of times when we run our mains, it's real dry. I want to run on these studs. I don't want any holes. And I don't care if dirt gets in there. It just doesn't bother me. If I feel like my tires are getting out of balance from dirt, I'll poke a hole in them and plunge it out, whatever. But I am going to, however, I got holes right here. And I want as much bite as I can get when our track's dry. I want to run on as much of that stud as I can. So what I'm going to do is, when I glue my tire up, I'm going to make sure that the hole's right here. Because I know under power, that hole's actually going to move a little bit. And it's going to be right here. When I get on the throttle, it's going to breathe in, and there's going to be air in there, but it's just a happy medium spot. I know that's going to move, and it's going to be okay. If it's not, when I squeeze my tires and I grab it, I'll grab that wheel from the inside here like that, and I'm one-handed here. That's why I can't do any gluing until I get to the track. But you'll turn that thing, and you'll see. You kind of turn that thing and watch that hole. You'll see how it gives a little bit. If you grab your tire and you go like this, you'll see sometimes, if you do it right, that hole's right there. That groove in that foam. So, something to think about. Hope you guys can zero in on your tire and how you want your holes and all that. Now, this seems how you fellas got me wanting to revisit some of the pro setups. We still only have 3 setups to go by, but the most consistent thing on their setup is the tire. So if I want to revisit it, I'm going to have a tire. And I know Razorthorn's going to be running these. And if he starts kicking my butt too bad, I'm going to want to throw some on and see what he's up to, because he brings his A game. Him and I are a pretty good race, and he's a lot of knowledge, but we race for bragging rights quite a bit. I'm going to clean that off a little bit so you can kind of see something here. Because I know these are a popular tire, but if you look at these, this is a brand new tire. This one's got about 15, maybe 20 battery packs to it. And you can figure 7 to 10 minute runs on those, but look at the difference in the size of these pins. This is the J Concept, and this is the AKA. If you look at the size of the pin on here. These are scrubbed in pretty good. I don't know if you're getting a good view of it or not, but then here's this one.